Clint Cosgrove, Rivals national recruiting analyst, here with one of the best players in the nation, arguably the best player in the nation, five-star receiver, Carnell Tate, originally from Chicago,
Yes, sir.
but yep, you still represent the Chi, man. But
Oh,
now down at IMG Academy, and we're going to do a little different today. Most of my interviews, they are about dropping a top five, making a commitment. What we want to do today is I want to share the other side of this recruiting process. A lot of people just see the glamour and they say, you know what? I wish I was like Carnell Tate. I wish I was recruited like that. And it's not always fun and games. Now, there's a lot of great things that come with it, but there's obviously downside too. So, this is funny because back when I was scouting, and I think, were you a freshman or were you in eighth grade?
I was a freshman.
Yeah, you had just finished your freshman year.
Yeah.
You were the first person I ever interviewed on camera. I don't know why we had a camera that day. I just decided to do it. And I knew you were an up and coming big time player. And that was your first interview on camera. So it's come a long way since then. Let's talk about your journey from that very first time that we talked when, you were giddy, you were excited about recruitment. Just tell me about how it began and then how it's developed over time to where you are now.
Oh, it definitely began as a slow process. Like I picking up offers, it was like slow. Like one come, then next week or 2 weeks after that, then another will come. But now it definitely has sped up now with like multiple schools are offering me, and then like multiple coaches like contacting me. So it definitely became hectic now.
Yeah. So you go from Marist High School in Chicago, which puts out players,
Yeah.
and then you transfer down to IMG, which is a whole different level. We see it. You're in a dorm room right now.
Oh yeah.
It's basically a facility to build big time players to go on and do big time things. And so you get to IMG and it blows up. I mean, you become a five-star. You can go anywhere you want in the world. You've got reporters hitting you up all day,
Yep.
annoying people like me. You've got coaches hitting you up all day. Tell me how the process changes from when you're seeking those offers, you're excited about them, to now where it becomes overwhelming to the point where you have to change your phone number.
I
Um,
mean,
t- Tell me about it.
it's definitely become hectic. At first, it was fun and games. Now it's definitely serious. It's like a business decision. Now, like making the decision right now can like change my future. So it's definitely a tough decision that you got to think and pray on every night and day and night and talk with your family on about. But making the transition, it was definitely smooth and stuff like that. And then like picking up the offers and stuff, that was a blessing. And then picking up the fame that came with it too, that was a blessing definitely. But it allowed me to stay on my path and stay who I am.
Yeah. When does it become overwhelming? Because I know you get hit up by reporters all the time, coaches all the time. Tell me how it becomes overwhelming and when does it become overwhelming and how do you deal with that?
It becomes overwhelming like junior year and after junior year, because then that's when like officials comes into play. Like you're hoping to make a decision later down the timeline. And that's when signing day is right around the corner, and that's also when colleges finish up with their class before you. So it definitely can become hectic.
So, how about this? How has your overall vision of recruiting and the recruiting process, how has that changed over this time?
Oh, it definitely changed. Like at first I used to enjoy recruiting, like talking to different coaches and stuff like this, but now it's become like crazy in the business, like where like you're not able to contact every coach because like there's so many schools that offer you, and like you don't have time to contact every coach, and also you might not end up at every school, so like you only contact those schools that you know you're interested in, and they're interested in you, and you know you see yourself playing at.
So, and one of the things you touched on is just when we did the piece the other day about advice to coaches is
Yeah.
like, it could like too much reaching out, too much interaction uh, isn't always the best. Just while talking instead of people reading it, what advice would you give to coaches? What's the best way if I want to sign Carnell Tate? What is my best approach?
I definitely say your best approach is not like a full court presser where you're constantly texting, calling me, and hitting up my family. So I definitely think that's not an approach. And then like a cool, calm approach, like, hey, how you doing? What's up? How you been? Stuff like that. Every once in a while, not every day. Like every once in a while, text and stuff like that. A call every once in a while, but not too much.
Okay. So like, meaningful conversation, not just conversation to have it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me, what is the best thing that has come out of this recruiting process for you?
Well, I definitely think the best thing that came out of the recruiting process for me was meeting like the fans in general. Like you got kids that look up for you back from your hometown. So I definitely think that was the best thing that would happen for me. You pay them to wait for the kids back home, and they look up to me.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. When Carnell's in town, especially, when you came up for Pylon, everybody knows, the kids definitely look up to you. You give a lot of kids hope around here, which is a cool thing too. How about the worst thing? What is the worst thing that has happened, throughout this recruiting process for you?
Oh, you could. I can definitely say the fans too with that because like you read comments sometimes like hate comments or he only wants this over this and stuff like that. So the fans can definitely get involved too and start heckling. Like at the end of the day, we're regular people too, so like we do see it. So like that's definitely I'll say like the worst part about it when fans are like talking down on kids for choosing a different school or talking down on kids for like what they believe in, what school provides what to them over another.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. And I mean, what are you, 17
Yes,
years
sir.
old?
Yes, sir.
I'm 39 and these guys rip me apart and I get upset about it. I take it personally. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like for a guy like you. Um, is it hard to not take it personally? Is it hard to not carry it with you or do you just brush it off at this point?
I mean, at this point, I just brush it off. But at the beginning, it definitely like bothered me a little, like to know that was in the back of my head, like, oh, he thinks this of me, stuff like that. So it definitely took a toll on me at first, but now I just brush it off because I'm so used to seeing it and stuff like that.
Yeah. They say, hey, if you've made it, the more haters you have, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but there's a couple more things I want to ask.
Oh yeah, you're good.
First one being, if you were in charge of the NCAA, what is one rule change that you would make as far as it goes for recruiting? Whether it's to make your life easier, whether it's to change the rules on contact period, visits, whatever it is. What do you think is the best thing the NCAA could do to help out a guy like you and people in your position?
Ooh. I'll definitely say like more in person visits because that can help a lot of kids like that allow like visits throughout the season like open that up more because that definitely like shows true character from teams and like which team is like being able to get up there the more to show you most love.
Yeah, does it change? Sometimes I mean, it's kind of like you meet a girl on the phone or something, then you meet them in person and it's not the same. Have you found that the same in recruiting? You might connect with a coach on Twitter or the phone, and then you get on campus and you're like, this isn't it.
I mean,
Does that
yeah,
happen?
definitely had that experience with a few schools.
Okay. All right. Now this is a touchy subject, and I try to stay away from it as much as possible. And I'm not going to get into any personal names. I don't want your personal situation or anything like that. But NIL, it has obviously changed the game.
Yeah.
Um, and you're as connected as anybody with these top recruits. You're well liked. You know all these guys. You go on visits with them. You've met them all. You have offers from all the same places. How big of an impact has the NIL had on the recruiting process and the decision making of players? Not necessarily you, but just top tier players like yourself.
I mean, it definitely got in the way. It's like NIL is like a big factor now. Like some kids make their decision based off NIL, or NIL plays a huge part of some kids' decisions. But like me personally, like at the end of the day, you got to the bigger money is at the next level, and NIL doesn't touch the money that was compared to the league. So like it definitely takes a toll on kids like that. They're worried about the money right now and not about the bigger picture later.
Yeah. Do you think it should be regulated a little more, or do you think it is something? I mean, it provides opportunity that sometimes people wouldn't have, especially if they get hurt or they didn't come from a great upbringing and stuff like that. Um, but do you think it needs to be changed, or do you think this is the right direction?
I mean, I definitely think it could be changed, but like, there's like no way like to possibly like put a regulation on it. honestly, because like I definitely think a change should happen to it because like at this point like some teams are like just buying players and like you shouldn't have like offer like so much to one person.
For sure, man. You know, I've known you for a while, but this has been very interesting for me to hear, and to hear it from you on this side of things. I know you're in Florida. I know you're coming back to Chicago. Hopefully, what, spring, summer.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully, I'll see you then. Let's finish with this, and this is kind of how I think, if I can remember, how we finished our first interview. What's next for Carnell Tate? What are your plans? What are your goals?
I definitely plan on taking a few more visits, and then my ultimate goal is getting ready for the next season at the season that's coming up ahead of me. Like be able to showcase my talent all season long, return offense, and hopefully I'll make a change on defense too if they need me out there. But
They're
yeah,
gonna put you.
nah,
They're gonna put. I want to see it if they do, man. I want to see you come down and hit somebody.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah,
Uh,
my biggest goal is just staying healthy and getting ready for the season.
okay. How about this? Long-term goals. If 20 years from now you look back and you say, "My career was the greatest success ever," what has Carnell Tate accomplished?
Oh, definitely putting my family in a comfortable spot where they don't have to worry about the money and stuff like that, and then also make being a role model for the kids back in the city for all the families that need help, and then all the kids that need motivation.
I love it, man. Hey, Carnell, it has been a pleasure knowing you, man. I look forward to continue talking with you. I look forward to following your recruiting process, seeing where you end up. I know it'll all work out because just the type of guy you are. You're a high class guy. You're going to provide a lot of value somewhere, and you have a bright future. But I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking with me and addressing these topics, man.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.